start off with is this lid, and I'm going to tell you what all that means in a minute, but we're going to think about why you work. What is it you're doing? Why are you doing it? You're in the real estate business, and everybody okay?
Yeah, it's just all the note takers.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess just because it's on their calendars. Mm-hmm. So, let me just ask you right now.
Hey.
What is a why? There's Michelle. We saw a note taker from Michelle. We didn't see Michelle. Grab you a lid worksheet right there. So what is a why? Not what is your why, but what is a why? What does that mean to have a why?
A reason for something.
A reason for something?
Keeps you going, your motivation, your inspiration.
Keeps you going?
It's
How about anybody
a
online? What do you think
point
a
of
big why
focus.
is? Okay, it's what to focus on. Sometimes it's what to focus. It's not really what to focus on, but it's why you're focusing on something. So you have to find your big why. And that's kind of what we're going to get at today. We don't have to get personal. I've had different big whys. Those whys can change from week to week, year to year, 5 years. Like you can have a why that's simple and small, or you can have a huge why. But either way, you got to know why you're doing the work that you're doing. And if we just come here with some made up, thing, like why we're doing something, I love it. James Shaw, in the email, there may be, if she sends you the whole email, there will be a link to the James Shaw Pivot Shift Ahead group. And he's where I get a lot of inspiration from. He's where I get a lot of my teaching from. He's where I've learned a lot of things that I've learned. And he's a big part of Keller Williams. He used to be a master faculty for KW University. So he's very smart and he gives us a lot of things. And one of the things he says is that we create these goals in our head of what we want. And like, when you come into real estate, what do you think is the number one money goal? If somebody asks a new agent, how much money do you want to make in this business? What do you think they say?
They all say $100,000.
$100,000, almost across the board. And a lot of that is because they've never made $100,000. They don't even know what $100,000 is. They would just be happy to make $100,000. Has anybody been like that when you first came in? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it was funny, when I came in, I had already read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And before I even got my license, I had already read the book because I knew I wanted to come to Keller Williams. And you have to make $4.2 million to be considered in sales, to be a billionaire real estate agent, to make $1 million. To net $1 million, you have to sell for $4.2 million of, or that has to be your GCI, your gross income, before you pay anything out. So when they would ask me when I first came in, they said, so how much do you want to make? And I said $4.2 million. And they were like, okay, like that's not normal. I said, well, that's what it says I'm supposed to make, so that's what I would make. I didn't know what it took to make $4.2 million in gross commission income. So when I realized what that meant, I was sad, but I had to draw back and look at my life and figure out exactly what I needed to do to get exactly what I wanted and create that life that I so desperately wanted. I was broke, penniless, and our house was falling down around us when I got into real estate. And I was a teacher.
Do you want them to be able to edit it, view it?
It doesn't matter because I suggest when Mandy sends you this email, I suggest anything that you click on, you save a copy of your own, because like it's in my teaching file, so it doesn't affect mine, but it'll affect each other's internally. So you just might want to save your own copy, and then that way you can see it. But
if you didn't get it, put your email in the chat and I'll send it to you. I just sent it.
Yeah. And the thing you're looking for right now is the lid spreadsheet. And if you want to do it digitally, like we have some printed out copies here, and we'll have some printed out copies available. But, grab a lid spreadsheet right there. But this lid spreadsheet, like I said, we've got some paper copies here, but there's a digital copy in the email that she just sent out. And you can do it digitally if you want to. And it's the Excel version. Grab one of those spreadsheets right there. And what this is for is to help you find part of your why or how to get to your why. Your why may be something different. It may be, my first why was to put a roof on my house. Again, I came into this business broke. My roof was caving in. They had canceled our insurance because they sent out a little drone and saw that our porch and our roof on one corner of our house had kind of like collapsed. And we just kept propping it up because we didn't have $10,000 to put a new roof. I didn't even know how to get a new roof on my house. Honey, you need a roof now, I can get you a roof on your house for about $6,000. Like I got the people and I got the stuff, but I didn't have it then, and normal everyday people don't have that thing. So my big why was simply a roof on my house. I have since gotten a roof on my house and a porch on my house and the siding or the other stuff fixed around the roof. So, and a lot of things. My next why was to take my grandkids to Disney World. And I did it. I took all 12 of us to Disneyland. And kids, grandkids, everywhere, everybody.
We ain't never doing that again.
We'll never do that again. It was fun. I can check that box and I never did. I did tell my grandkids that when the baby that went he was a baby. And I said, when he's 11, because that's how old the other one was, the oldest was, I said, when he's 11, we might do it again, but they're going to push me around in a wheelchair. So, but yeah, so this sheet here is taught by Gene Rivers. He's head master people in KW, older fella. He's been doing this for a very long time. He's taught me a lot of good things in this business. But this here helps you figure out what you're going to do to get what you want in your life. This is not your budget now. This is not what you spend on things now. This lid stands for lifestyle, L, investments, I, D, debt. And we're going to start with lifestyle. And it's got some things listed on here. But it also has some spots, where it says other. You can put in some things that maybe you don't, that you want to add. And if you download the spreadsheet from the email, you can put in more lines, however you want to do it. We just made it this way so that it would fit. So the concept of this came from Jane Shaw. So lifestyle, when you put in numbers on here, there is an amount per month and an amount per year. This is what you would like to pay or to have or to do. So say when you go on vacation, right now you're trying to limit it to $500 a vacation. Let me tell you, I have thrown that out the window because vacation is my joy. And
That's all I can do on the 500.
figure out what you want. We used to take trips where we would camp. We would camp because we couldn't afford a hotel. We would take all our food with us. Even if we got a hotel, I'd get one with a kitchen so that I could feed everybody. So these are things. Now I'm like, heck no, we're going to Key West. I'm going to pay $10,000 for the place we stay. Because that's the life I want to live. That may not be the life you want to live. It wasn't the life I could even think about 5 years ago. That wasn't even in my head. So I know when you start putting these things down, you got to get out of your head. You got to create the life that you want right here. And when you start adding these things up, and it's got things like charity, it's got hobbies, family hobbies, sports, gym memberships. Like I'm a member of a gym. I give them my money every month, even though I rarely go. haircuts, my nails, like they're not done now because they hurt my nails when I have the fake nails put on and all the things done to it. They mess my nails up, so my nails hurt, and I'm giving them a break. But if I want to go get my nails done, I can go get my nails done. And I have made that part of my lifestyle because I feel good when my nails look good because I have really thin nails. So that's important to me. It may not be important to you. Maybe you want to get a clean haircut every, 3 weeks. That at a good barber and not at Great Clips or, Sport Clips or wherever my husband goes. Groceries, I remember when I used to go in and like buy the cheapest thing, whatever's on sale, the discount meats and all those things. I'm not saying those are bad things, but if you're okay with that and that's what you want in your life, that's great. I don't want that no more. Mandy taught me a thing not long ago, or a couple of years ago, about I've spent more on less. I've spent more money on stupider things in my life that if it's something I want, I'm going to buy it. And I've literally learned to, after all my responsible things are taken care of, if I want to spend my money on something that's important to me, I'm going to do that. So, membership or like streaming services, gas, cell phones, internet services, things for your pets, recreation, entertainment, season tickets. We used to have Braves season tickets, and we had to buy the cheapest packet. My husband loves the Braves. That he lives for the Atlanta Braves, and that's what we gave him, even though we couldn't afford things, and we got the cheapest package we could find. It was just Friday night games, and it was great, and we had a great time, and we loved it. We got tired of driving up there because if we didn't want to drive all the way up to North Atlanta, we would have season tickets in way better seats now because I would make that a priority in my lifestyle. Sending money to adult children. My kids wish I would send them money. But
I work for her, she don't send me money.
Yeah.
Kelly Williams, the only person that gives her money. Actually, she pays for more of my stuff than I do for hers. So there's a lot of things, where it says childcare, maybe that's private school for your kids or a different school or, a different house in a different area so your kids can go to a different school, whatever it is. There's things out there, we didn't have any choice. We moved to Morgan County, our kids went to Morgan County schools. It didn't matter. And we couldn't have done anything about it because we didn't have any money. And, I still am not, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not by any means a millionaire. Like I struggle to keep $10,000 in my bank account, but it's because I'm living the life that I want to live. And I remember when I had negative money in my bank account. And it's only taken me 5 years to change that. And you can too, if you're willing to do what it takes to get where you want to be. Living the life that you design. So you fill this in, and obviously you're probably not going to be able to do it all in here today. That's why I got you the digital version so you can look at it. But we're creating what it is that you want in your life and how much money it's going to take for you to get that. And then under the investing portion, that's if you want to save money for buying properties, if you want down payment money, if you want investments, if you want to get in the stock market, if you want to start your savings account for your retirement, college savings, life insurance, all of those things are here. Long-term care. How many of you are taking care, maybe taking care of a parent or parents getting to that stage where they're going to need some help? There are things that you can have in place to protect yourself at some point in time. And then debt, that's the D in LID. Debt is who is your biggest debt to?
More.
Who's your biggest debt owed to? Uncle Sam. Biggest debt. If you don't prepare for that, man, $8,000 plus. I still haven't filed my 2023 taxes. Not good. It's not a good way to live. If you're having to pay taxes, it's because you're making a dang good living. Pay the taxes. Find a way to not pay as much or too much, but pay the taxes because that means you're making money. So your biggest debt is to the IRS. So just think about that, of the different things, student loans you may have, credit cards, Michelle mentioned, your car payment. You know, I don't even have a car payment. I don't do car payments. But maybe you have a car payment for, you know, a 2002 Honda. I don't know. You know, so maybe you want something nicer, something bigger, something better. Put it here. This is your kind of like your dream sheet. This is what you want in your life. Don't put down what you're paying now. Put down what you're going to be okay paying later. So that's what this is for. When you add all these numbers up, and in the digital version, it'll do the math for you. You'll get down at the bottom number down here once it's all added up, and that is your lid number. That's the number that you have to make. Bring home your profit, your piece of the pie. That's what you have to make to live your lifestyle. Mine is $170,000, and I've not made that yet. I'm working on it. We're getting close. We're going to do it this year. We are definitely going to do it this year. So the lid, lifestyle, investment. Y'all should be filling this out. And debt. Figure out your total number. And this is going to tell you what you're going to need to do. Why do you think lead generation has anything to do with this?
Something coming in, get your income.
You got to have people to talk to. You got to have leads. If you don't have leads, you don't have a business. I learned early on that this is a lead generating business. That's what we do. That's our job. We are not really selling real estate because we can't sell real estate if we don't have leads to sell them to. So if we're not generating leads, we're not selling real estate. This is a lead generating business. If you don't want to talk to people, if you don't want to let people know what you do, if you want to walk around and be a secret agent, you're not going to last. You're not going to last. I'll tell you that now. You better find another something to do in real estate because there are lots of things to do. My daughter doesn't want to do that. Mandy doesn't want to do that. She likes the back end stuff. So she helps me get more leads so I can make more money so I can fill out that sheet and pay her more. And it's all still, somebody's got to find the leads. So go ahead, kind of, in James Shaw teaches us, like, if you say, I used to do this when after I realized I wasn't going to make $4.2 million, I decided on a number, and of course it was about 100,000 was my goal. The first year I actually sold real estate, I was about 70,000. So I thought I did pretty well for that year. But then the next year I said, I sold 11 that year. I had 11 transactions that year. So the next year I was like, well, I would like 15. What was the reasoning for me picking 15?
So it was the next easiest number.
It was the next easiest number. It was just a number. It was a number I pulled out of my head. It was more than 11. It was more than 70,000. I just made it up. But it wasn't tied to anything. So when I went and tried to do it, guess how many I sold that year? 12. Thank you. 12. 3 years in a row. 3 years in a row until I figured this out. And until Mandy came and helped me put the things in my head in place. But until I figured it out, I was reaching this ceiling, and it's here on the wall, breaking through to higher achievement. It's MREA. It's taught all the time. It's called going from entrepreneurial to purposeful. The E to P, you'll hear it called different things through Keller Williams, but I was hitting a ceiling. I'd done all I could do by myself. all that my natural ability could get me to do. And in this industry, this is what it looks like. You hit the ceiling and you've done all you can do, and then you get down on yourself. You get frustrated. You get resigned. I'm never going to be able to do this. I thought I was going to do better at this. Then you start looking. You start looking for somewhere better to go. You start looking for that brokerage that only pays, you only have to pay X amount of dollars. You look for that easy out. And you jump over there and you jump on the other side of this line right here. You jump on the other side of it, you think. You get over there and you find out it's the same old, same old. It's not them. It's not KW. It's not the brokerages. It's not your clients. It's in you. It's in you. You've got to decide whether you're going to try to push through. And when you hit that ceiling, you have to figure out what's causing you to stop there. Sometimes a coach is a good thing. Here, it's team leader or people in the office, being around people who are doing the things. Great. I tell this story quite often. A great team leader that I had, Ray Duvall, those of you who know him, I was crying in his office. I couldn't do this. I was in this. I was here. I was at the bottom. I had done all I could do. I was here every day. I thought I'm doing more than anybody else, but I'm not making it. And I was in there crying. And I said, I don't think I can do this. And I think I'm going to quit. And he looked at me and he said, Cindy, I got something to tell you. And I was like, what? I thought he was going to give me these magic words. He said, it's not the last time you're going to feel this way. He said, you hit this ceiling of achievement where my enthusiasm, my excitement, my intuition, my natural ability had run out. And everything above that was something I didn't know yet. I had to learn it. And I probably hit that ceiling a dozen times in my business as I've grown in each little piece. And it's been different things. Some of it is learning that I needed to let go of things. Some of it is learning how to make the calls. Some of it is learning how to negotiate my own value. That's what I'm working on right now. But either way, I had to get help to break through so that I could get the lifestyle that I wanted to live. I was never going to make it on my own. I had to do more. I had to learn how to leverage other people and other activities. Because if I didn't, I was just going to keep going through the cycle. And I've seen it. Actually, Michelle's been in this cycle where you jump somewhere else and then you realize it wasn't that. I've seen other people do it where they go and they leave or they go and they decide to. I've seen other people go take real jobs, just quit altogether. But it's because they didn't push through. But then I've seen people come back and realize that they got to do the work, and they do it. And Michelle's rocking. I use you an example, Michelle, because I watched you. I was a new agent, and I watched what happened. And there were times when I know other agents who've left and are just gone and who are not doing well. They're because it didn't change. And it's important. It's important that we make it happen and that we determine the things to do. So you calculated, maybe you just pick a number out of the air, but James says that's a dumb goal. If you decide you're going to make $100,000, that's fine with me, but you don't have a real reason. You can't go and get ready to make the calls or get ready to go do some door knocking or get ready to do an event and have something to say. If I don't succeed at this, then what am I going to take off of here? You got to know what your goal is tied to, what your number is right here that you need. And then we'll put it in here in some other forms that'll help you know exactly what to do. But you've got to have that number, and it's got to be real and tied to your why, what you want. This is where you begin to create your life by design. So there's the sheet. You got it. All of you online should have it. If you haven't, drop your email in the chat and maybe you'll get it sent over to you. And all of you will receive, actually we'll need to get your emails before we leave it. You'll also receive all the documents for this and the digital version of this form so that you can have it. I like my digital version. But I also like writing it out on here so I can think and cross out and fix the things. Okay, so we're gonna, after you get that number, there are two different versions. You can scan this if you want to, so you can see them. I'm gonna open them up, but there's two different versions of the economic model. One of them looks like this, where so this one, I believe, is the green one. Let me give y'all a minute to see those. So is this the one that you just pulled up?
It is a red.
Okay, we're going to the. Does it look like this? Okay, so this one works too, except you kind of have to play with it. You can see here. Oh,
Sorry, this is the red.
This red. Sorry, I didn't click the button. This does it look like this? Is that what the green looks
I
like?
didn't get to the red.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here. This is the green one.
You go share.
Oh, shoot. Scan the green one.
It's there. We go.
Right.
Yes, that's the red.
And all of these are going to be sent. Did you get it? Sorry. So this should be the green one. So this one works a little different way. So you can play around with it. You're going to get these. But what I did here, like the green is where you can put your numbers in. And I just made it so that it got close to my 170,000. So I just kept putting units in and I played with it. This is conversion rates. That's if you go on an appointment, if you go on a listing appointment to get a listing and you don't get it, that affects your conversion rate. That's going to drop it. If you go on a listing appointment and get the listing, that's going to raise it. So I put 75. I'm probably a little higher than that. Honestly, I don't go on listing appointments unless I think I'm going to get them. A lot of people just go on as many listing appointments as they can get. I'm like, if this one ain't a go, like I'm just going to talk to them on the phone. Like I'm not going to do a real listing appointment. So I did one recently, right before family reunion that I did in school. I took my plot and recorded it and everything, and it was really cool. But she's not ready, so I know like when she's ready, she's going to use me, but she's not ready. So I knew that when I went there that wasn't a guarantee. We're going to list something in the next few months. So that's your conversion rate. And the same thing with sold. How many listings did you get? And did you actually get them closed? I've been working all week to get one closed. It's killing me. It's lender issues and all, but I rarely, if I get them under contract or if I get a listing, I'm going to get it sold. Or I'm gonna die trying. And right now I'm about to die trying, but I'm trying. So, you know, that's your conversion. So those can change. So you can change these. Like if you're going on listing appointments and you're getting every listing out there, then you can put in, you know, do 90%. Do 90% instead of 75%. And it's going to change what you have to do during your week. So let's go back to this one actually. Go back to the red. Get back here. Let's go back to the red economic model because that's where you put your lid number in, sorry. And it should look like this. Oh, sorry. It should look like this. Do you see that? So this right here that top number, where this one says 170, that's where you put your number. That's where you put your number that's right here on the bottom of your bid spreadsheet. This is how much money you need. And if you get that number in there, it's going to automatically calculate. It can either calculate what your actual expenses are, which you can see I put right here, the expense and cost of sales, or you can look over here in the red part and it'll tell you what the MREA says. So if you're a millionaire real estate agent, you can expect to spend that much on expenses and cost of sales. I'm a solo agent, small team solo agent. I'm never going to spend that until I'm making $4.2 million. Then I'm probably going to spend this. But right now, this is about what I'm doing with my cost of sale and my expenses. So that's a whole other class too. That's the economic model. That's cost of sales is what? What's cost of sales? The MREA teaches us cost of sales and expenses. What is cost of sales?
Things that you pay for because you made a sale.
Things you pay for because you made a sale. That's your split. That's your money that you pay KW. If you have another agent on your team, that's the money you pay that agent. What's that? No, it's referrals. No, because you got to pay your photographer whether you sell that or not. If you take pictures, you got to pay him even if you don't sell the property. It's referrals. If it's an outside referral, then you have to pay another agent a referral fee. FMLS fee. That's cost of sale, because it makes me so mad that you got to pay it. There's just things that you have to pay. You have to pay KW until you cap. But once you cap, you don't have to pay them anymore. So your cost of sale drops dramatically. Actually, that's why I have 18,000 up there, because that's your cap. So for the first, until you sell so much, you better pay the 18,000. And then like if you have another agent on your team, like I have Mamie, then that would be figured into my cost of sales.
But only because I get paid when we close.
Yeah,
I don't have a salary, that would be an expense.
Yeah, if I paid her, monthly to do the work for me, or weekly, then that would be an expense. Anything, I consider a transaction coordinator cost of sales, because my transaction coordinator doesn't get paid unless we close. So she's a cost of sales for me. But expenses are what? Dues, office fees, photography, staging, marketing, Facebook ads, classes, education, trips. They all count as expenses. Paper. You need to keep the AC down on this, or whatever it is. This is being recorded.
D'Amico always gets mad because I turn the air way
It's
down.
hot, and I'm just like, everybody's going to sleep, and I'm sweating. So this is another class. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that. Just know that you have to take your number that's at the bottom of here, okay? This is your profit. This is what you're going to net. This is what you want to net. Mine's 170,000. If I put my expenses and my cost of sales on here, I have to add those to it. The worksheet will do it for you, but that'll come up with what my total gross income needs to be. So my gross commission income needs to be $212,000 just for me to make 107. And if my average commission is $9,000, which it's not, because I'm horrible and I give my commission away all the time, I should only have to sell 23 units for the year. 23 units. When I first started, I thought, I can do that. It was not as easy as I thought, because I had to rely on lead generation and I didn't know how to do that. So then it goes on down and it tells you, this is where I think the wake-up call comes in. It tells you, so I am literally 50-50. I am 50 sellers, 50% buyers. Like, I am just about, half and half. I want to be listing heavy, but for some reason the buyers just fall from the sky. So I take care of them too. But my conversion rate's probably a little higher than 70%, but that's okay because my average commission is lower than 9,000. So it's still going to even out in the end. So my conversion rates, again, that's whether you get the document signed and whether you get the document and whether you get it to closing. So that's your percentages, and MREA just teaches 70%. So
And actually, I think last year they said that the average commission across the board went down for like $7,200.
oh, wow. Yeah.
And
And
at our office.
At our office. I think a lot of that was the lawsuit dropped it down because we started seeing more 2.5%. I
For
think
the buyers.
for the buyer side. So this tells me that I need to have, this tells me from all of these numbers up here, for me to make $170,000, for me to make a total gross income or GCI of 212, I need to have 1.74, which is actually 2 because we can't have a 0.74 appointment, and I need to have 2 seller appointments and 2 buyer appointments per month. Does that sound hard?
It doesn't, but
It doesn't. How am I going to get 2 buyer appointments and 2 seller appointments?
you have to make so many calls or make so many lead generation activities.
I like that you changed that because I'm all for do the calls because I know the calls work. Every time I make the calls, I get a lead. Every time. How often do I make the calls? That's in my own head. That's what I'm supposed to look. From 9 to 10, I am on the lead generation call, baby. I'm there. Am I there?
You're there.
I'm there. Am I making calls all the time? No. Should I be? Should I be?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Every time I do, guess what happens? I get a lead. I get somebody to talk to, which inevitably turns into business that I can make money on, that I can create the life that I want to create. It's real. It's not just some mojo fluff from some book that some rich real estate agent guy did. Like, they know what they're doing and they have studied it and they've done study after study and proved it and proved it and proved it. And I can tell you from my own experience that if you do some sort of lead generation activities, whether it's going to the grocery, there was one day I literally I had some leftover candy from Halloween and I made up little fall bags and I put my business card on it and I went and stood out in a parking lot of Ingles in Covington and just handed them out to people who looked friendly. Literally did that. Did I get a lead from it? Not that day, but I don't know. Maybe somewhere down the line, maybe somebody I gave it to that day knew me. Maybe they gave it to somebody else and they reached out to me. Maybe I got something out of that. I don't know. I can't track that ROI, but I know that there was little to no investment, but my time. It was fun and I talked to people and it worked. I pick up the phone, I make a handful of calls, it works. I have a text message. If you've taken Mandy's class where you set up the text message to go out regularly to all of your database, individual letters per day or per week, I've gotten so many conversations out of that I never would have gotten because I never would have sat down and texted them. But now that it's automated and it's texting them for me, then they text me back and I'm like, oh, wow. I just go into the conversation and we've had some great conversations. We've got somebody here in Georgia right now that's going to look at 2 houses tomorrow. Tomorrow, did you say? So this weekend to right now because of that text message, because I found out she was in Georgia. They discussed it and now she wants to go see 2 houses. So
It's
like
like a reciprocity. It's like Tamika said the other day, if you do anything regarding lead generation, I don't know who we want to give the credit to, but it just happens.
it just happens and it works. And I love these eventually.
Yeah.
Actually, it may not happen all at once, but if you're consistency over intensity, if you keep doing it and you can get these buyer appointments per month and go talk to somebody about selling their house, either you'll actually get it done and you'll get that house sold, or you'll at least get them started so that you can start talking to them more, so that you can stay in touch with them, so that when they are really ready, you're there and you're who they think that. There's only room for 1 or 2 real estate agents in everybody's mind. You got to be one of them. And if you aren't on the lead generation calls, you should get on there, because they're great calls, and it gets you up, it gets you focused. Whether you make the calls or not is up to you. I'm not there to twist your arm and make you make the calls, but getting there and just getting in the rhythm of it. Quentin said today about the cadence of how you do things makes a difference. And if you can get so that you have 2 buyer appointments and 2 seller appointments a month, if I can do that and go on those, I can reach this 170,000. But you got to make that your why, your number. Don't go by mine, because mine has changed. All right, let's go back here. Do you have any questions or anything that I might can help you understand a little more? Because I know this may be a lot. It is a lot. I've also taught it a couple of times, so I know some of you've had this information before, but I can't stress it enough. You've got to have this number so that you can figure out what you're doing and why you're doing it. So that you can know that I want to be able to get my nails done. And to do that, I've got to be able to make this money. I've got to have enough money to pay the IRS. I use Profit First to do all my accounting. It's just a model after it. I don't actually like pay for anything, but I have my money set up so it's split up now, and I love it because I give my profit to me first, what I make first, and then I have my business expenses account, and I have it. If you don't already have a business account, you need that right now. Today, make it a priority. Business account. Stop putting business money in your personal account. Don't do it. But I also have a tax account because I got myself in so much trouble before that now every check I get, a certain percentage goes into that tax account. It's so cool to open up that statement. I've got it in a high interest savings account. And when I open it up and it's got almost $10,000 in it, it's just, I'm like, I don't have to worry. I don't have to stress. I don't have to think, oh, I'm not going to be able to file my tax return. Now, whether I, get off my hind end and actually get it done is a whole other story. But, okay, so you transfer that number to the economic spreadsheet or the economic model, and that will tell you the numbers that you need to reach your goal. And again, if you went over here back to this economic model that I had, this is where I take the units from the other economic model, put it in here, it divides it out. It tells me what I need to do to come up with, it's got my average commission, average sales price, it's got buyers sold, but this 20 units, if I sell 20 units, the other one said 23, which is about right, but this is 20 units, will get me 167, and I honestly just played around with this one. And that means I have to sell $5 million worth of houses. Now, I can do that with 3 houses, $1.6 million or so a house, or I can do it with a handful of 20 houses, which is about what I have to do. 20 houses, because all my houses are anywhere between 300,000 and 500,000. So the numbers can change. If you want to do higher end houses, you do that. And I also, this is your working weeks down here. If you don't want to, I'm not working 52 weeks a year. I don't care what anybody says. I don't need any of that in there. But that's what you got to decide. And that's one of our next slides. You got to decide.
So do you decide you're working with at the beginning of the year, or does it kind of change throughout the year? You just go in and change them
So I can change the numbers if I want to. I don't change them unless something drastic happens. I would change it to go up. I would hesitate to change it to go down because I always want to be striving. But yes, life happens. If something happens and, like this year, we've had such an awesome beginning of the year. Yeah, I'm probably not going to change mine. I'm going to keep going. But last year, my dad died January 31st and my world fell apart. And it was just like one thing after another. I had to change my goal because not only was I not going to meet it, but every time I looked at it, it made me want to cry. It was discouraging. So yes, I had to change my goal because of life situations. But still, I had to decide. I've known other people though. Brittany McAllister in Omaha, she had a baby that wound up in the hospital in NICU, and she still managed to sell 80 houses that year because she decided what she wanted to do. She changed the way she did things. She leveraged other people and she managed to sell those houses. I decided I don't want to do this. I just want to cry for a little bit. I'm going to grieve. And I decided to change this. So either way, I had to decide what to give up. Let's go to this one. I'll go back to that. This is what I'm talking about here. So once you've got those numbers, how many appointments you need to make, how many units you need to sell. And I mean, there are other worksheets out there where you can figure out how many calls you need to make. Anna Kruger is a KW coach that teaches language and making calls. She used to be an inside sales agent. And she has a formula where you figure out how many calls it will take you to get an appointment. And I mean, it's like 75 calls or so to get an appointment. That's a lot. 75 contacts to an appointment. So you have to decide, am I willing to do this? So you look and assess your commitment to the effort. The efforts, it's what you have to do to get this isn't going to change. It's not going to change. For you to make whatever number you need to make to live the life that you want to make, those numbers are going to stay the same. But whether or not you want to do this and do what it takes to get this, that's where you have to decide.
It's like your very first one that was like $4 million or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but that meant you had to go on like 13 appointments a day to make that many sales, to get that much money. And so you had to make like 1,000 calls a day to get 13 appointments a day. So like, you're like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't even want to do that. So then you realize that like,
That wasn't for me.
that wasn't actually your goal because you don't want to do the work that it would take to make that goal.
And if you can figure this out and make it your standard, like if this is what you really want and this becomes your standard, then you'll start doing the things. And you'll be happy to do them because you know, if I come in and I make the calls, if I get on the pivot shift and learn the things that I need to learn, if I work on my conversations by doing a scripted roll call play every morning, you know, if you do those things, you'll realize that you can make this happen, but it takes doing something different than you're doing now. And honestly, sometimes we don't want to do that. So you have to decide, do you want to change this? Is there something that you want to take off here so that you don't have to do what the economic model says you have to do? Because the economic model is true and real. And the only thing that will change it, it's just math. Yeah, the path is in the math. It's just math. The only thing that'll change it is how many units you have to sell because of the price point. Like, and you can adjust that. We've talked about that, upping my price point. Because if you stay in the lower price point, it takes more houses to sell. So, you know, there are things that you can do to adjust it, but you still got to do the work. You still got to get the appointments. So one, take a moment to assess your willingness to commit to the efforts. Consider your current workload and time available. Are you working another job? Do you have 4 kids at home? Like, did your dad die this year? Like, what's going on in your life? Are you going to be able to do this? And if needed, then you adjust your goals to align with your commitment level. but it's still up to you what you do, always. And like I said, I had a similar goal last year, but I probably decided too quickly that I can't do this. And then I realized that it wasn't just that I can't, it's that I didn't really want to. I wasn't in it. My heart was broken. I was struggling. So I just couldn't do it physically, mentally. So I decided just to be okay with that instead of looking at that goal every day and saying, it was okay. But you have to decide. It's up to you. You decide what life you want by deciding what you are willing to do. Consistency over intensity there in the middle. That's one of my favorite sayings. Get on the calls. Do the things every day. Like he was saying, your hour, 2 hours a day. Get on there and do them. And you'll be surprised. It'll just come out. And the second you stop, brakes are on. But you can go in 3 days in a row and boom, 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 and you're there and you're making calls and you're getting leads and everything. And then you run off to do other things and you stop coming to the calls. What happens? The leads go down. You don't have anybody to talk to. So 3 months later is where it's going to show up when you don't have anything in your pipeline. We don't have any houses to sell right now. I'm struggling. I've got to do more lead gen because we've sold all of our listings. And I've only got a few in the pipeline that aren't ready. So I've got to get more listings. That is my goal. That has been my focus. But I need to do more lead gen, or I'm not going to make this number. We're working on it. Let's see. These are just some great things to know. Let me first just ask any questions. Any questions from anybody online? Anything that I can clarify or help you understand?
Hi, Sydney. For clarity, I'm trying to work both of the, or fully understand both of the sheets. So with the economic model teaching, where am I pulling or plugging the number that we are getting from the original sheet when we were plugging in or the LID sheet?
Yeah, so it is right up at the top where it says total net income. This number right here, where it says 70, that's my total net income.
And that's what you pulled from the lid.
Yeah, so that comes from the bottom number of this lid right here.
Okay.
The bottom corner down here.
Well, once you total your lifestyle, your investing,
Yeah.
your debt.
Yeah, that's all three of these are added up here at the bottom. That's going to be that. So say, and you can see if I change this to 100,000. It'll change all the numbers.
Okay.
So if I just want to do $100,000, then now I only have to make 142,000 in GCI, and that is the number. That is the amount. You'll hear that a lot in this business. GCI, that is gross commission income. That is the amount that you get after you pay everybody and pay all your expenses.
Okay. Crystal clear. Thank you.
Or before, I guess I should say before, not after, before you pay all the cost of sales and expenses. So that is your GCI. And then again, and then that changes it. You only need to sell 15 units to make that $100,000. If we have the same conversion rates and everything, you only need to go on,
It's still
two appointments a month, but it's just different, number of units. So you got that, Shanika?
I do. Thank you very much for clarifying.
Anybody else? Any questions in here? Ladies, y'all are back there. I'm just wondering, do y'all just like, what is she talking about? Or you got it? You understand?
I got it. I just had a question about the economic models. Are these the same ones that we did with Dawn? Is this like the same spreadsheet?
Yeah. And so this one.
That's what I was gonna say with your question earlier, where you're like, do you adjust it when you go, because like, you wanna do that business planning, typically, not like right now, it doesn't matter, you wanna do this now, but typically, you would wanna do that business planning at the end of the year, so you can kind of see how you did this year, and then you business plan for the next year, so you come up with next year's lid and your goals, and like she realized that she didn't wanna make $4 million because she didn't want to do the work that it would take to make $4 million. So we have to change our lid and take something out or add something, change it differently. And then that you put that in there, and that gives you your next year's goals of like, okay, so if I'm going to go on 2 appointments a week, then I need to, do something for 2 appointments a month. Then I need to make so many calls and I need to do so many things. And then over the course of the year, like say every quarter or so, you can kind of look back and be like, I only went on, 1 appointment a month instead. So this quarter, I gotta go on 3 appointments a month just to make it.
Make it work, yeah. And so if you're in the other economic model, the one that's called a class business planning clinic, so this is one of the greatest spreadsheets that I've ever used as far as business planning goes. I gave you the whole thing, but it's got a lot. I'm not going to teach it all to you, but it gives you an opportunity to play with it. So once I figured out on the other economic model what my unit goals were, how many units I needed to sell, and I put that 20 in there, it carries over into the rest of this thing. If you look along the bottom, there are, you see down here, there is the budget model, the lead gen model, the GPS, the tracking sheet, and the resources. This is all stuff that carries over and kind of helps you figure out what you're going to do. Like the budget model, see, it has my 167 goal. It tells me what I need to make a month. It tells me what my cost of sales need to be. It tells me what I need to budget for salaries and phones and supplies. So it kind of tells you parameters that you can put on your spending and on the things. I like it just to look at it. I don't use it at a real high level, but I love to look at it every year, and throughout the year. So then you go on, and then you got your lead generation model, and this is where I've got 20 closings goal, my average conversion rate of my database. I need 200 to complete that. I've got 222. So I've got enough people in my database where if I regularly work my database, I can meet my 20. If I will stay in touch and work in my database. And then it has an organizational chart over here. This is not mine. This is just a copy of it. I have mine filled out, but it's got when I was getting ready to create a team, I knew I needed a transaction coordinator. I knew I needed a buyer agent. And I just kind of put what my plans were when I was messing around with this one. So it also gives you some ways to use touch plans and different ways to grow your database. This is golden. This is a class I took. Again, this is your GPS. This is where you decide what you're going to do. And then you put in the things that you're going to do, the priorities like daily lead generation, hire Mandy was one of mine, and something else. I don't remember what it is right now. I have to pull it up. But and then the strategies that I'm going to do to make those things happen so that I can sell those 20 houses. So that's your GPS. And then there's a tracking sheet that it's too much. I'm not a sheet person. So, but it is in here where you can put down when you go on appointments and when you get documents signed and when they close and those kinds of things. And I played around with it, but again, that's something that you can play around with and that you can do. And then there's a lot of resources at the end. There's the 411 that you can go to. There's a growth plan. There's a touch. I love the touch work. I'll pull that one. Yeah, the 411 action goal, and that's where you have yearly goals, and you can do those for any parts of your life. You can have goals for your physical fitness, your health, you can have goals for your business. You can have goals for whatever you need, like, and it's got one that it's set up so that you can create it for every month. So, like I said, it's a great thing, but it's too much for me to share or to teach. There was another one, the 36, MDTV2. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but let me show you this. I like this because I've sat down and played with this several times. This is where you can decide what's going to happen in your business all year. Like, we have emails that go out. Like I said, this is just copy. This is not mine. But we have an email that goes out, a newsletter that goes out once a month. And then we have other emails that go out throughout the time. We have different events that we do. We're having a pie event on March 14th for this month, and then where we get leads and we touch our VIPs. And then promotional things, we send birthday cards to all of our clients. And then there's some other ideas and things. And this, you all have access to this in the email. It's the economic model. It's actually called business planning. It's class 2024 business planning. And you may need to change some dates and stuff in it. But it also, this was for 2024, the dates are, so you would have to change the dates if you were going to use the DTV2 here. We go back to this. No, we go back to this. But that's just all in that one file, and you can use what you want out of it. I did want to, how many of you understand the DTV2? Everybody understands that? I always hate to be like, but how many of us don't use it? We were on a call this morning, the James Shaw call, jamesdshaw.com, sign up for the Pivot work Facebook page thing. You don't have to get on Facebook. You can do it through Zoom, or you can watch the recordings on Facebook. They're fabulous. But this morning he said, I know that this week's DTD2 is S and U because were you on the call? Good for you. And he said, because Ira called me, and I met Ira at an event, one of his events not long ago. So I kind of know who he is, but we're not like best friends or anything. He called me yesterday too, because my last name's Smith, and he left the sweetest voicemail, and I thought, that was so sweet. Did I think, oh, why did he call me? No, I didn't even think about the fact that it was DTD2. I just thought it was sweet that he called me. But this morning I realized he was just doing this DTD2. He was calling the people. And I thought, that's real. That's real. When we call people, it may just be on this list, but it's a real phone call. We're not calling and saying, hey, you're on my list and I have to call you today. You know? We're calling and saying, hey, his voicemail was sweet. It was like, hey, I just want to see how you were doing. I hope everything's going good. I hope he knows I'm an agent. So he said, and with the Pivot people, and he said, I hope to see you in London. And that, call me if you need anything. That's all he said. You know, he just wanted me to know he was there. And that's what we need to do. We need to let people know that we're there. And now I realize that he's doing the work, and I hadn't called my S's this week. But yeah, so you got the DTD2 group for calling, and then you got texting. There's another one that has emails, but I figure, like, we email them. We should be emailing them things regularly, whether it's newsletters, market updates. You're emailing them. If you have them an address put in for them, you're emailing them neighborhood nurture updates, and you don't even know it. Like, it's just going out there. Oh, Timothy. Okay. So let's see. All right. Let me back up here real quick. It is time. Okay. Yeah, I just want to go over. I don't know how to go back, because my computer's weird. I'm clicking all the back things and it's not going back.
escape first. No. Sometimes my camera does this.
Okay, these are just some things I wanted to point out when we were talking about database. The size of your business will be in direct proportion to the size and quality of your database. You can have a lot of people in there, but if you're not touching them, you're anonymous. They don't know who you are. You can have 1,700 people in your database, but if you're not systematically reaching out to them, they're not going to know who you are. James also teaches if you reach out to them and give them information. What do you think? You're anonymous, and the other one you're annoying. If you do it all the time and you don't bring any value to them, and you're just sending them just sold, just listed, just showing off or doing whatever you do, that's annoying. But if you're providing them value and you're not doing it in a systematic way and letting them know and asking for the business, then you're anonymous. They don't know to call you. So you gotta find the middle of that to be able to reach out to them. We have to feed it so that they know that we're here. It says that the database is a living thing that needs to be fed with new contacts. So never put it on a diet. You've got to get new contacts. You got to make the calls. You got to talk to your people. You got to have an event. You got to go to, I don't care where you talk to them. Whether you go hunting with people, golfing with people, church with people, if you are part of a mom's group don't be the agent that's hiding and doesn't tell anybody. Wear your name tag, talk about things. As soon as they know you're in real estate, they're going to ask you questions. So let them know, always let them know. Leads, those are people that have showed some sort of interest, but you haven't had a contact with them yet. Those come in on Facebook, those come in on sign calls, those come in, if you, like I have homes.com, those are leads. And if you don't reach out to them, they're not going to use you. They're not going to do anything, but you got to talk to them and you got to follow up with them and you got to put them on a plan. Mandy's done smart plans where they click in Facebook and all of a sudden they start getting these messages from me that I don't even know I'm sending. But it's okay if they respond. But it's good because when they do say something, I get it. And then I'm like, oh, cool. And I can go right into command and see what conversation I should be having. Because sometimes I'm like, I got to look and see what that text said because I don't know what it said that they just replied to. I had an old guy this morning text me and he said, did I miss the party? Like, I don't know. What are you talking about? Oh, my pie event. Yeah, no, you haven't missed it yet. But he's just an old guy and he was funny. Did I miss the party? Contacts are people that you've actually talked to. And once you've made contact with them and you've set them up on something, then they're not a lead anymore. You click that little button that takes them off the lead list. But I got a whole bunch of leads. I just need to sit down and talk to them. I haven't followed up. I haven't some of them I have, but some of them are just sitting there waiting for me to say, oh, I met you 8 months ago. But it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You get something, Amy?
No, I was like, but that's why we're putting in these smart plans. So like after an open house, we have a smart plan now that I just tag you into it and then they get emails and text messages and stuff. Once you've had a conversation with them, then
it goes on
that.
It stops that. Yeah. And I just learned in a class that I'm taking that if you get a new lead, you should follow up and call them 6 times in 6 days or until they answer. So you should contact them with a different voicemail or a different whatever for 6 days in a row. And then if they don't contact you after that, if they don't connect with you before that, then you put them on a smart plan to keep in touch by email or some other form. But that you should call them every day for 6 days until they connect. It seems like a lot, but Harvard did a research on it, like literally. like, it's almost a 90% connection rate.
Are you calling at different times?
They don't really talk about the times, but just daily, just every day. And actually, the lady who does it, who taught the class, said she actually only calls during the week, so she may skip the weekend and get in her next 2 calls. So like, if she doesn't call Monday through Saturday. If she got the lead on Wednesday, she'll call Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, you know, like that, so that she gets 6 business days is the way she does it. But, you know, you can start on Monday, but the sooner you contact them, the better. And it's just learning how to do it.
Well, and we've talked about this kind of ad nauseum, I guess, but, like, I was afraid in the beginning that if we did that, they would tell us to go down, you know, like, block that number. But then, I would definitely block it, right? But the point is, if they block it, then they're not our contact, and that's fine. There are 40,000 other people in Rockdale County who need some houses, you know, like, we don't need that one lead to become a contact. And if they unsubscribe from everything, that's fine. Then we move on to the next lead, because there are more people out there, there's more stuff. And if they do respond and they're like, you know, I'm a teacher at Rockdale County, then we're like, gotcha, you know?
Yeah.
And we keep those people and we try to maintain regular contact with them through the smart plans and the newsletter and stuff like that in order to build that relationship then with them. But if you lose them in the very beginning, you know, we do the car show every year as a lead generation thing where we have a booth that you can give away. They have to sign up for the giveaway by giving us their name and phone number and email and permission to contact them. And so when we do, you know, probably 5 of them will immediately be like, stop, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
But everybody else gets our email every month.
Even if they don't talk to me,
Yep.
they get our email,
And
they
half
get
of
the
them still
neighborhood
open it.
nurtures, because I'll go look up where they live by their phone number. Oh, but just remember, success is up to you. That's the main thing I want you to take home with you today, is that if this is the lifestyle you want to lead, it's possible. You decide. It's up to you. You decide what you want to do, and if this is what you truly want. Build a bunker. I'm not good at this. I leave my door open all the time, but if you need to make calls at home to keep from being distracted, make them at home. If you need to come in the office where you're encouraged to make the calls, come in the office. Do whatever you need to do to build your bunker so that you can do the work. I used to do the work right here. I got my first sale. It was dark. I had made a video to my family telling them that it was daylight when I started, and I was videoing out this window, and I said it was daylight when I started, and now look. And I was, you know, trying to be like, it's gonna work, it's gonna work. While I sat right here, I had a lead from Red Day who called me and said she tried to call her agent, and her agent wouldn't answer the phone. And I said, and she said, can you come by? And I was like, yes, I'll be there in 15 minutes. Like, you know, like it was my first one. It was my first listing one. I sold it. I door knocked the neighborhood, and I sold the neighbor's house, and I helped them both buy homes in other areas. So that was right after Ray
And
told
we've already
me.
gotten referrals from both.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they're both looking to buy new houses again.
Absolutely. And that's one of those, that I was at that ceiling of achievement when that happened, because that was right after I had went and talked to Ray and he told me you're gonna not last long, feel like that. So I was digging in, and bam, there it was. And once it all came, it came. And that's the way it'll happen. But you got to be doing the work. So build a bunker, do the work. If you need to make sure you have water, make sure you have a snack, make sure you have, you know, go to the bathroom before you get started. You know, if you're going to do door knocking, make sure you take stuff with you. You know, whatever it is that you need, have it with you before you get ready to regenerate.
So what do you gotta do, like, because I don't want to say get distracted. Sometimes I get distracted easily, or I can't stay focused. Like, I gotta have this. I got to do something else. And sometimes coming back to it,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to get back to it once I leave. Since I have to make myself Because I know once I'm stopped.
That's why I like the call, because everybody's on there and they'll do it. And typically, like, if there's somebody still on the call when I get off, I'll leave the call on. Like, they can just stay on there. I won't end it for everybody. If I'm the only one on there, or, you know, somebody I know that's just doing their thing, then I'll end it. But a lot of times I just leave it on. If there's one or two people on there, just leave it on. But that's when you got to come back to this. That's when you got to put this where you can see it and be like, okay, I don't want to do this right now, but I know that if I do, this will happen. Motivation won't just show up. You got to do the action. James says the motivation bus is not coming to pick you up. You start moving, you start doing the things, and the motivation will follow. And then you'll have the desire to keep going. Yeah.
Like, one of the things that just, as an ADHD person,
They're
I
just
find that
like-
like closing my computer helps me to do anything that I'm doing, like closing all other tabs if I need my computer open. Or it's like you're just calling the DTE2s, if that's like all you're doing, or the expireds or whatever you're doing. If you've prepared and you kind of know who those people are and you kind of know what you're doing, all you need is a list of names and phone numbers. So you can export that from command, you can print off the expired sheet, you can do something where it's just a sheet of paper with names and phone numbers. And then you don't really have anything else to do but call those names and phone numbers without getting distracted on devices and other stuff.
Well, and then again, Evan Alexander said, people do not decide their futures. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. So if you just get into the habit, I like the endless support. Get on the things, ask somebody to help you, ask somebody to hold you accountable. Anytime I tell somebody that I'm going to do this, I don't really want to do it. I don't tell anybody that's what I'm doing. But if I want to do it and I really want to make it happen, I tell people this is what I'm doing. It's actually one of the reasons I decided to take over the lead gen call, because I had that opportunity and I know without a doubt that it will help my business. I will get to help you as well, but I know being consistent and being there and doing work things every day in the morning will make my business better. So I suggest you get on the call. We don't do anything, you know, wonderful. It's mainly just sitting there, you know, making phone calls, but we do have a little encouragement at the beginning. One of the things that I try to tell them every day is there's somebody out there who needs your help. But it's your job. They're not going to come looking for you. It's your job to go find them. So that's what we do. I hope this was valuable to you to come in and get your brains flowing. Help you think through some things. All you online, I appreciate you coming in, being here. I hope this helps. If you didn't get the email, make sure that you put your email in the messages so that maybe you can pull it off and send you the email. Those of you here, just so I know everybody, if you don't mind.
I can also just go ahead and send it.
Yeah, you just tell me your email address and make sure you got it. So I think I know you. How are you? Dwayne Sales. Dwayne Sales. Do you spell your last name? Sales?
Sales team.
All right, well, I'm Cindy. I hope this provides some value to you.
All right.
Well, I'm glad you came.
I bet something's the one.
The reason you're here is what?
Is it DE or VA? This is from.
Oh, I appreciate that. I think there was some, I knew there was some smoke.
I'm just getting be more intentional this year.
I'm
sorry. Now, Mark, they're doing-
I thought. Not everybody is living. Not everybody.
So one thing that happened, this was yesterday, somebody said, oh, yeah.
I guess in my mind, I kind of wrong.
Like, yeah,
She bounced back. And I felt like every time
lady
she
just came out of nowhere and said, "What I have the church for?"
that's what
So,
I had no
I
choice.
had to-
But I appreciate
For her.
Until you get together, I see that closing yesterday, and I think it's to where you can have lunch.
And
then we're all working. Thank you. And, we still need to get together and make sure our plans for seeing how we're going together.
It's like Sunday.
Oh, okay. It has down, safety.
Music or something, but it's like instrumental and that works.
There's a group of two cellos,
Yeah.
and they actually play like, regular music, which is music.
Yeah.
But
So,
it's.
yeah, I know it's funny, my roommate, I used to stay with an advantage, she's in South Carolina, and she flies out maybe.
But honestly, I mean,
Just to do something like that, and the plane is
so it's
just
like, I only got access. Like, cause then when I'm like,
So
okay,
they
well,
open
another
the box,
tab,
they
I'm
have
like, that's
this
sad.
phone, and then she just gives a vibe. Thank you. Yeah. You know, I don't know exactly what I know you can Uber from Tampa to St. Louis. I don't know where it is, but yeah. And sometimes they'll have people running, like there was a little girl, daughter or somebody who was running, yeah, and she, I rode with, yeah, it was Ginger's daughter, that's exactly what it was. And, I didn't get to ride with her because I got there so late, but she took me to the airport, so.
If I don't see St. Pete's,
Look for Tampa, yeah. Tampa's gonna be close. Yeah. Did it help?
Yeah, I needed to put my
Mine
lid
changes kind of
together.
every week.
It didn't help on my numbers,
Because I'm a person that puts all the signs, picks up all the signs and puts all.
$340,000.
It's a different world. You can do it.
You make that church happen, that's that one, all you need.
10X is easier. 10X is
It works out that way,
easier.
huh?
10X is easier than 2X. If you can find, oh, that's my favorite book. If you know what will be, it's easier to do. Like, if you're just trying to get some arbitrary number, it's not so easy, but you know, you'll start seeing things that will get you to that faster, then you'll see things that'll help you just go
Well,
up.
and I don't know about you,
It's a great thing, you just start looking for opportunities. And you know, that's something they've been talking about a lot now, is getting people who have connections, connecting with people who have connections.
Text them and send it. Tell Justin I sent this.
Somebody asked how much you want.
Another text.
So they call that.
Yeah.
That's.
Jake wants to like my bracelet. She says it's very.
I'm excited because I gotta eat. But.
That's what we
I'm still good. Let's go get it.
Yes.
My sister's going to say.
Alright.
And now you
What is that?
But no, my numbers aren't actually that much different than what I was saying.
Okay, good.
I just have the, my price point.
That's me, I just, and I have uptime in the last 2 years. But it's,
It helps me have that.
yeah.
They like two of them.
Nope, I get it.
And like, I'm like, how she said,
If you're looking for someone who's like regular.
You told me that.
Use them in.
You told me that. Okay. Tell them the next week. I'll turn it on my phone.
That's what I really say.
Just make sure you log
Zena, make sure, is she on there? No. Sales, Dwayne Sales, he says he already knows how to do this, I don't know if he needs the email, but
Okay.
he said he don't need it, thank you.
Okay.
He's already got this, he's already making the big bucks.
Nice. Must be nice.
Must be nice.
76 degrees in my house.
Because like, this made more sense to me when she did lifting, because like, I try to come up with a number, and okay, well, I do this number last year, it was too much, I didn't do it, kind of discouraging, maybe.
That's a girl.
Because I look at the other
This is my sister. This is the one that helps me schedule my life. I was just telling her, like, oh, we're not doing anything every day, and I'm more time going to the gym. But now my sister goes, and she's good at doing things by schedule. So that helps me do things better.
Nice.
Well, this one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, she got the dimples from y'all, though. We don't have dimples. Y'all got dimples.
And go to me the kisses now.
Yeah. At least when we can. I guess we should stop.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, oh, give me a big hug.